What's up, Gigi fam? Grub girls are back.
If it's your first time here, welcome to the family.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop us a like, and hit that notification bell so you guys know every time we drop a new video. I'm Jess.
And I'm Crixley.
And we're at home. It's a moving studio, guys. It's still a work in progress. It will be until probably Josie's 5. Alright guys, so we decided to do a little Q&A because there were people in the comments, subscribers, who wanted to know a little bit more about us and this channel. There has been some evolving in the channel since we decided to have a kid. But we're going to eat Jollibee, some Jollibee chicken, and it's not a full Jollibee mukbang. We tried these Momofuku noodles. They were buy one get one at Publix. So we got soy scallion and tingly chili to try. So as we're answering questions, we're gonna go ahead and eat some food. Comment down below if you want to see a full Jollibee mukbang of all the menu items, because Crixu told me not to get rice, and I wanted the spaghetti, and I wanted the other noodles, and I wanted other things, and she said just get the chicken.
Everyone knows that the main star of that establishment is the chicken. Did we get spicy? I see the flag.
I only got spicy because Josie doesn't like Jollibee that much. Oh, but she had room for mango pie.
Of course.
And if you've never been, their pineapple refresher is amazing. But all right, let's start serving.
Also, some gravy. If you know, that chicken has got to get dunked in the gravy.
Without rice.
And I have tried to, I think it was KFC, to dip the chicken into KFC gravy, and it just wasn't the same. There's something about this gravy.
It's homey. It feels home. Feels like Tita made it. All right, so are we going to try the noodles? Taste test for the noodles first?
Let's do the soy.
Okay, so this is the soy scallion. Guys, these aren't 25-cent noodles. They are buy one get one.
Try a thumbnail look.
Oh. They were buy one get one, but one bag is $12. How many does it come with?
It's pricey, yeah.
5 of them.
They're also like a wheat durum.
A higher end noodle. You guys see that?
I don't know what I'm eating here.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
It's very light.
Mm-hmm. It's very light. It almost tastes healthy, but I think that's the wrong word. I think it tastes like fresh.
Like not as preservative.
Not as processed. Yeah.
Not as processed.
Yeah. It's
it tastes like a simple ramen. Mm-hmm. Like simple noodles. I really want to try the tingly chili oil, guys. And it has thicker noodles. It has the wavy noodles.
I wish it had more flavor.
Yeah, it definitely is like you need to put something on it. Meat, maybe more chili.
But let's get into the wavy. What are these? Tingly chili wavy noodles. Ooh.
You guys,
the noodles are so long.
This is a thick one. Look at this.
Cheers. Mm-hmm. That has way more flavor.
Immediate tingly. Mm-hmm. But it is Sichuan. Is it Szechuan?
Szechuan spices.
We love Sichuan Chinese food.
That was delicious. That's going to be my favorite of the two.
We wanted to try all the flavors. They have like 5, but...
It's got a blend of there's acid in it. There is that tingly Szechuan.
That peppercorn. It's like spicy, but not in your face. Just flavor.
That was really
Both still need a protein. It's just a side noodle. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's grab some chicken. You want a thigh or a drum, or what you want?
I'm a thigh girl.
Guys, if you've never had Jollibee, it's life-changing. Look at this. Oh, she's putting that white sauce.
I got this yum yum sauce. I'm gonna see if I can doctor up this noodle a little bit.
What are we at, Kobe's? Adding some white sauce.
White sauce for life.
Well, she does that. Oh my gosh, the skin is crazy. I'm gonna take some skin. Try to pull back the skin. Okay, guys. I'm gonna put some of the noodles, since we don't have rice, in the skin. Like so. And then I'm gonna pour a little gravy. Oh my god. Okay. Let's not get too crazy. All right. Cheers. Try it. Let me know how your white sauce is. The gravy helped those noodles out. Now white sauce too?
I had to test it on the side just to make sure I wasn't making a mistake.
And?
Who was I kidding? You cannot make a mistake when you pour white sauce on everything.
Oh. Sorry, guys. If it's your first time here, we're new parents.
Not as new.
Not as new, but
we're first time parents.
First time parents.
But we have a toddler who is currently taking a nap. And we're taking advantage. This is, you know, what parenthood is all about, finding those little gaps to kind of do life when they're sleeping.
Oof. All right.
That juice is so good. All right, so while we eat, I'm gonna go through some questions that maybe, you know, are just your typical get to know you questions. And then if you guys have other questions in the comments, you can put it in the comments, and, you know, as we work to get videos out, we can do some more answering.
Getting to know you.
Where and when did we meet? Oh God, I was about to eat this without the gravy. What's wrong with
You want me to start?
Sure.
Well, it was 20 years ago this year when a young woman approached me online in what we know as, or some of you know, MySpace.
Wait for it. I was gonna say wait for it. Yes, you heard that correct. It is MySpace.
No Facebook, MySpace. And Tom, our mutual friend, honestly, who can resist this face? I'm just kidding. But not really. She approached me. That's the facts.
She loves to say that.
She reached out to me. We met. And the rest is history. Like typical LGBT, we were looking for the U-Haul within 3 months. And people thought we were crazy. And yet, 20 years later, here we are. You want to elaborate on that?
So I'm like, that's her version. Now my version. Just kidding. So I was, I guess you would say, experimenting in college.
Can I get a little white sauce?
Sure. Experimenting, and you know, I was young, doing young things, and I was trying to get someone kind of
jealous.
I guess get someone's attention, you know. And I used my contacting her to do that, basically. So I was using her this relationship that I was trying to develop with her to kind of like get someone else jealous, says. I would say. So yeah, but it ended up being that, you know,
you fell madly in love with me.
It ended up being a good match. And the rest is history. Here we are. How many years later?
20 years this year. Half of my life, guys. I'm turning 40 this year. Half of my life.
Wow.
Is next year, you'll officially know me for more than half of my life.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Like, obviously, we do not feel, you know, our age.
My joints would say otherwise.
I don't feel my age.
I know you lying. You don't feel tired? I'm sure if we were parents in our 20s, it would be different.
Parent life. I don't feel my age. I feel younger. Still tired, but younger. What were first impressions of each other? I'll let you go first.
The first impression is this girl likes hats. She wore a hat in all her pictures. She wore a hat on our first date. And by the way, now she barely wears hats. I don't know, evolution, age. I don't. She thought she was like Maya, the R&B singer or something with those hats. She was quiet, but I can tell she was observing the whole time. And guess what? She passed that on to Josie. She was like calculated in her moves. I know what she was up to. But she's very committed for someone who was just testing the waters in college.
So what were your impressions of me? That I liked hats?
And you were quiet and observant, but you were like always thinking.
Did you think I was beautiful?
Duh. Spice, sorry. Do I have to explain that? I'm definitely, don't get it wrong. I'm not like dating up like the size of Mount Everest up. I'm a little cutie too. But yeah, you were beautiful.
So my first impression of her, and we kind of joke about this all the time when I say this, was quite different. I thought she was really obnoxious, a sore loser, and I didn't know how on earth I was going to continue anything with her.
And she hates the way I eat.
Mm-hmm. So our first like official date, we went to Macaroni Grill.
R.I.P.
I don't think that's in business anymore. Mm-hmm. And we went golf, putt-putt, like mini golf.
Mini golfing.
Of course she lost because I'm, really good. And she was a sore loser. Like, that's all she kept talking about. She wouldn't drop it.
It was 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
No, literally, we came to my house, and she was still talking about it. So that kind of, like, was a little off-putting for me, because I was like, why is this girl so, stuck on that?
Why is this girl like me? I'm just not showing it.
I am competitive, but, I know when to tone it down for, like,
I don't.
first meetings.
Nope. I am who I am, and that is who I am.
That is true. I will give her that. She's always been who, she presents to be.
Now I
wish I
want
had
more noodles.
More crunch. More skin.
There's more skin, girl. Get more chicken.
But we also ate at Macaroni Grill, and she ordered a salad.
It was delicious salad. Ooh,
and
spicy.
I kid you not, she was eating, like, number one, this was her first and only meal of her life. It was like scarfing everything down, kind of like mouth open, and I'm standing across from her, and I'm like, what on earth is this person doing? And also, a big no-no, answered her phone during our date and had a conversation. It wasn't like a quick, like, hello.
I didn't know people weren't allowed to talk on the phone.
While you're at the dinner table with a first-time
What if
date,
it was an emergency?
That's what I'm saying. You didn't pick it up and it was like, 2 words and goodbye.
Do you want the other thigh? There's 3 drumsticks, 3 thighs.
3 drumsticks, 3 ties?
Thighs. And we've had 2. There's 1 thigh.
I'll go with the drumstick.
Thanks.
So she's very, like, in my opinion, like, obnoxious. Like, kind of like no table manners, I guess, is how you sum that up. And,
Well, I didn't have etiquette school, excuse me.
I didn't know. I think those things come natural, I would say. But she did introduce me. This girl knows her food. Here we are on a food channel, right? Shocker. She did introduce me. She said, this dessert you have to get. Because I was like, I'm okay. I don't need a dessert. She goes, no, you must try this dessert. It is like an orgasm in your mouth. And
in typical Crixley fashion, she didn't tell me that it was indeed an orgasm in her mouth until months later.
I was like modest. I was like eating it, and I'm like, oh, this is good. Thank you. And then in my soul, in my head, I'm like, holy crap, that is amazing. I want like 30 of these. And I want to eat them in bed, like when no one's watching by myself.
Yep.
But yeah, so it was really good. That was our first date. We went back. She took me back home.
She invited me inside.
I did invite her inside.
Just to talk.
Someone pretended to fall asleep on my bed. Is that a move you do with a lot of the ladies?
No.
She pretended to fall asleep, and I just kind of let her. So yeah, that was our first date, right? Our first official date.
Yeah.
How long did it take us to become official?
A month.
A month?
Told you. And the U-Haul came 5 months later. By the way, between that time and January, so what's that? November's that? 3 months, we got matching tattoos. We followed the playbook to a T.
The lesbian playbook.
To a T. We have the same.
Show them the tattoo we got. You can't see mine because mine's on my back.
It's a heart, but if you flip it, it kind of looks like a woman's back. And it says "Love conquers all" in Latin or Italian. Which one is it? Italian, which connects that later. But yeah, and
this kick has a kick.
it's spicy. We lived together.
We got our first
apartment
together. It was like barely a 600 square foot apartment, very tiny, really cozy. And we kind of started working at the same places.
Yeah, not on top of being together 20 years. Another thing people find crazy is that we've pretty much worked together in the same job also since we moved out and lived together. We worked at call centers. We ended up graduating college the same year. Just one was in May, one's in December. And then we both ended up in teaching.
That is where we currently are.
We're both teachers.
And it's not like we had one vehicle that we were sharing and it made it convenient. We both had our own cars. But I think just, that new love, wanting to be around each other a lot.
Is it new love still? We want to be around each other a lot? We still around each other a lot. Some would say this is crazy.
She's my best friend.
Oh, stop. Shut up. You heard that, Nelly?
We, for the most part, get along great and truly are like, that best friend dynamic. So we don't mind being around each other all the time. When COVID happened, a lot of people struggled.
Normal for us.
A lot of relationships were damaged, and we thrived because that was normal for us.
Now, do not think that we don't get on each other's nerves. First off, plenty. As normal family and relationship, that's normal. I mean, if you think it's going to be sunshine and flowers for 20 years, you're out of your mind. But, like I like to say, this is a stock I invested in 20 years ago. Might have a few dips every now and then, but put too much into this to just cash out. So you're stuck with me.
That is one thing that I will say, like, we both, I guess, did great on is that, when I was dating around or going on dates,
how are you still on the first piece of chicken?
What do you mean?
Well, guys, without rice, I do need a third. So don't mind me. I'm a little hungry. You keep going.
Excuse me. Another thing? Oh.
You were going on dates and stuff?
Yeah, so when I was on dates, it was like a mission. To me, dates were not like casual fun. They were like job interviews, I was trying to find my match.
Oh my God, partner. Yeah. She would do 20 questions on the first date.
I hated getting, dressed and going through, the same basically scenario with different people. And so I needed to make it like impactful and, straight to the point. Like if I felt like you were going to waste my time or I was going to waste yours, I had to let you know. So I think that, you know, by me asking her the questions that I asked her on our first date, it brought us to here because we both were on the same page. You know, we thought like...
I bet if she asked what you were going to be working as 20 years ago and I said, I don't know, probably a teacher. She'd be like,
here's the thing.
Just kidding. We didn't know we were doing that.
Here's the thing. And
ago.
I think that, like, a lot of people out there don't know, you know? Teaching is a lot more that meets the eye, a lot more than you hear and know of. And so...
Tell them. It ain't just daycare.
That's a whole other, like...
That's a whole nother video.
That's a whole other video. But, so if you would have told me that you wanted to be a teacher a long time ago, I probably wouldn't have, you know, batted an eye.
You'd be like, oh my
now
gosh, she loves
I'd be
kids.
like, oh, okay.
She loves kids.
Exactly. I probably would have said that. But yeah, but we were both on the same page about, you know, knowing that if we truly invested in each other, you know, marriage, that it was pretty much for life. You know, there was just very little circumstances that would break that, or that we would allow to break that. What challenges were faced early in the relationship?
Well, we moved into an apartment, and Crixley said she was not out yet, so she moved to an apartment on her own with a friend who slept on the couch because it was a one bedroom. So yeah, we were young. We were in our early 20s, and she wasn't ready to have that conversation with her family yet. So that came out early. And just growing up in college, in our 20s, navigating new people, new jobs, living out on our own financially. We are both kids of first generation immigrants. I know you guys don't think Puerto Ricans are immigrants because they're Americans, but oh, excuse me. But they are. I mean, they didn't grow up here, so going to college, paying for college on our own, dealing with that, and just trying to survive because we wanted to be together. It wasn't going to be the same if we lived at home, so I wouldn't change anything. It took us to where we are. Everything's for a reason.
I think, sorry, I'm going back to the food here. If you are, you know, not too big on spicy, the spicy is too much for you.
Yeah, don't like get spicy.
Really spicy.
Mm-hmm. It's not like Popeye's spicy, which I don't taste.
Yeah. And as far as the noodles, I would skip on the soy and scallion. Definitely get the tingly chili noodles. Those are delicious. They had like three other flavors. Yeah. So skip the soy noodle. Soy scallion.
And I think that's their flagship flavor. That's their base.
The soy scallion?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I can see it as a base, but
like that's their first one.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with her. Those were definitely a challenge in the beginning of our relationship. Big challenge in our relationship for a while, obviously. So I guess we can skip to the question that says, did friends and family approve right away? Obviously, my family did not because 1, they didn't know. 2, there was speculation. 3, I wasn't out. 4, my family was super religious, like old school religious. And so this just wasn't what they had in mind for their daughter.
Spoiler alert.
Child.
We're both only childs, if you guys didn't know. And spoiler alert, that stayed that way for quite some time. I only met Crixley's parents when she was pregnant, which Josie's only 2, so 3 years ago.
Yeah. And
at that point, it's like most people said, why bother? It's been 17 years. Why bother? But we were having a kid, and it goes back to us having pretty traditional values with family, and I said, if it's gonna work where Josie's grandparents on both sides see her in a part of her life, we just have to get past it. We meaning I. Actually, you know what? It was Crixley who was more hesitant at that point.
Yeah, because I feel like once you kind of surpass that initial stage, of getting to know someone and you don't introduce them, I feel like it's like almost like too late, you know?
But it's never too late, obviously.
Yes, I mean, we did have kind of like a second chance because I had a kid, and honestly, it was exhausting. I felt like I was living a double life, like, you know,
Separate holidays.
Once a week, I would go visit my parents, and then holidays, I would go visit them first, and I'd go hang out with her family, because her family knew of me, and we all, you know, got along. And it was just exhausting. I said, I cannot do that, and then also a baby on top of it. So I was like, we're just kind of like at a point where if they can't get on board, then, you know, changes would have to happen.
So they got on board, and now Rosie cooks for me every Thursday.
She enjoys mom's cooking.
So that's that. What else? What other questions we got here?
Is there anything you wish you'd done differently in the beginning?
In life or with this relationship?
Relationship-wise.
I mean, if I'm gonna nitpick, but you can't control. I react quickly. I just do stuff. I don't go into much thought. If it's a mistake, I will deal with the consequences later. Now, if I go back and think about things, maybe we shouldn't have moved in so quickly because we did end up, you know, accumulating debt because we had to live on our own. But that might have changed things with the relationship. So I'm saying that now, but I don't know if that would have, you know, we would have lasted if we weren't living together. Mm-hmm. So yes, because we had more financial responsibilities, but I don't know, things happen for a reason. So I guess no, I wouldn't change much. I'm not really into regrets.
Kind of the same.
Do you mind if I split the pie?
Go ahead. The same for me. I think that moving in together as fast as we did, when maybe we weren't really ready for that financially, kind of like made it to where we're still kind of paying for it now.
Yeah.
Like, I got a lot of student loan debt that I probably would never gotten if I didn't move out. So yeah, that's my biggest. I feel like I wish we would have kind of gotten the opportunity, because I would say that we did what we did because we felt we didn't have a choice. So if I felt like I had the opportunity to do that, I probably would have. So yeah. By the way, it's something funny. She's gonna kill me. When we were first shopping for our first apartment, we were still both living at home. And we decided to take a trip to the store to kind of like
Are you kidding me?
Purchase things for our future apartment that we got approved for.
I was in college.
And, you know, we grab all the stuff, and she's like, oh, I'm going to buy this, blah, blah. You know, I'm trying to be big money over here, big baller. And she gets to the register and swipes her card, and it declines.
And she never lives this
story
down.
And I had to take over, like, I got this, don't worry. Oh my god, so embarrassing. She's got no money.
It was an issue with the card, okay? I wouldn't have swiped knowing if I had no money. There was something going on with the bank.
Were there any embarrassing moments when we first met?
Are you giving the fart story for me?
Go ahead, whatever you want.
I don't really. You weren't that embarrassing, unless she was intoxicated.
By yourself.
No, you could share that. Other than, you know, Crixie was young, and sometimes she would get a little bit too much to drink. And there were a few times where she either, I said, are you okay to drive? And I said, count 1, 2, 3. And she goes, ABC. That was one moment. And then I'm trying to pick her up to go into Nellie's apartment. She's dead weight. She falls on the front yard, and there's dog poop everywhere because it's an apartment complex.
Oh, God.
And then another one, this was all within the first 2 years, is she had a bad day at work at the call center. And she's lying in bed, and I'm in the living room with the people in our visiting us, and everyone hears a loud boom, and she falls off the bed, and we never made it out that night. So I don't know why all your stories have to do with alcohol. And then I didn't learn my lesson because also she disappeared on our wedding night because had a little too much to drink. And her standards of too much drink isn't that much, guys. I don't want you to think she's downing bottles. She's probably had 2 or 3 drinks.
It's not like, I'm an irresponsible drinker.
No, she's
because,
literally...
I feel like you should know yourself as a drinker, right? You're like, oh, I can handle 3, 4 drinks. No, it's like always different with me every time because there's different circumstances.
She's saying she didn't have any water. What was that?
I don't know.
She didn't have water, or it was hot and she didn't eat enough. Either way, I've been lectured for 20 years that I need to calm myself. And we rarely drink now. But growing up, that I need to calm myself. But her list of stories of passing out includes our wedding night. Where our friends had to take her out of her wedding dress. I'm just saying. I've had one story like that.
First of all... It was Italy, and if you've ever been to Italy, you will find and know that water is harder to come by than wine, okay?
True
wine
story.
Is everywhere, wine is abundant, they just pour and pour and pour, and if you ask for a glass of water, it takes about 50 minutes for them to bring that to you.
And no ice.
And no ice. Oh, Lord, I'm full.
Oh, you want those noodles? Thanks.
Here, just take over.
Okay, thanks.
So,
You'd get one.
I have 2 and I can't decide, so I'm saying both. I would hang out in my 20s around my best friend's house because she was an early, like a teen mom. I was trying to figure out the word. Teen mom, and so she kind of like had to get her...
Early mom.
She had to get her shit together, early. And so she had a little condo, and I would kind of like hang out there. That was like my hangout spot. And so when we started our relationship, she would come over there all the time, and we'd hang out.
Why we leave one chicken? Might as well.
Anyway, she calls me and says, I gotta stop by. And she was at school on her classes.
My God. I'm just gonna eat my chicken.
She's like, I gotta stop by. I have an emergency. So I'm like, what is going on? I have no idea what to expect. I'm thinking like, did she get bad news and she wants me to comfort her? So anyways, I open the door. She comes in and she like jets straight to the bathroom. And I'm like, what is going on? And she was like kind of embarrassed at this point.
No, you're missing this. No, we didn't jet to the bathroom. At this point, I said, we need to go to Walmart. You need to get me shorts. And then I jet to that bathroom because I was already a massacre. There was no changing at Nellie's. We went to the car to Walmart.
But I thought I was at the house. Is that another story?
No, that's a different story.
Anyways, the point is that she was at school during class. And
the day of my speech.
By the way, still to this day, I will say that she still doesn't track her, monthly.
We're getting real intimate here.
She doesn't track her monthly. And obviously, I feel like that's something that you need to do so that you can be prepared. But obviously, she didn't, and she doesn't, and she wasn't. And she had a mess. Like, a mess that you could notice from a mile away. Poor thing.
Like
I
Freddy
would be
Krueger.
So mortified. I
Me.
could never go back to
My
class.
jeans were saturated.
Oh my God. I could never go back.
She didn't
You
even
went back
live.
after that?
No, crazy. Oh, to that class? No, I withdrew. That was the day of my speech. And I noticed it and I said, oh my God, I can't do a speech right now. And I told the TA who was doing the class, I can't do it. I can't let you know why right now, but I just can't do it. And she goes, if you don't get up there, you're failing that speech. I said, this mother effer. I said, well, I guess I'm failing the speech then. And then I had to wait till everyone left the class and I put my jacket around my hips, ran to the car. I never saw that lady again. I swear if I see her, I don't even know what she looks like. What am I talking about?
That's crazy. I mean, we're really supposed to be soulmates here. When I took speech, I also had an emergency right before my speech.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember?
I think Was it your grandparents?
My dad.
Oh, yeah.
Like, legit, my dad, my mom called me that he was being taken to the hospital in an ambulance because he fell off the ladder. And I was, like, next up to give my speech.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, public speaking is just not my thing at all. Now, the difference between her and I is I looked at, like, my whole, class flash before my eyes, and I said, I will not do this shit again. So my dad will have to wait for a second. I did my speech and then flew to the hospital.
Oh, wow, you did the speech?
I did the speech and then I flew to the hospital.
I took speech 5 times. The 5th time they said, you're paying out-of-state tuition. I said, guess I'm not taking speech anymore. And then I found out you could just take communications.
And what is that class?
It's a lecture class. I should have just taken that from the beginning.
I didn't know that.
It gives me really bad anxiety, and I don't get anxiety often. Public speaking, and then I joined teaching. Talking in front of the kids, no anxiety. Put their parents in front during award ceremonies every year. Hives. Anyways.
So going back to did friends and family approve right away? My family did not, obviously. They weren't even aware fully of what was happening for a while. How about your family?
Most of the family approved. Obviously, not like with open arms. They were more just like, she's gonna do what she wants to do, and it was like treading lightly at first. It wasn't like completely like, oh my god, we love Crixley, but she did meet them right away at Christmas. So it wasn't like, it was only like 2 months and you met them. Now warming up, it took my mom a while.
I know, that was, I was approaching the territory of however many years, what was it, 20 years of just her and her mom.
Mm-hmm.
So that was scary.
Yeah, it's a tough wall to crack. So everyone had to get adjusted, obviously. If it was just a parent and their kid for most of their life, that's a hard thing to get to break. And emptiness syndrome is real for parents, and I'm sure we're going to deal with that when Josie's older. But it's even harder when that's your only family, like immediate family. But it took a while. It took a few years, but I think I think Josie has pulled back layers faster with both sides of our parents, faster than we have in the 17 years before her.
Kids will do that.
So, yeah.
My best friend...
What is that thing that keeps falling? Oh, it's our lip gloss.
Oh.
I'm like, what is that?
My best friend kind of did give the seal of approval after some time.
She fell in love with me too. She hates to admit it, but
she was the one that we were spending most of our time at. It was kind of like her home was our hangout spot. It was our safe spot. And something that you did in the beginning that kind of like also, sealed the deal, as you would say, is when she was going to like officially meet Nellie, or like, I don't know, just making a meal for her. So she cooked all this stuff from scratch. It was delicious. And then we talked and we vibed. It was a good time. And then also I gave an envelope, like a thank you card, and she put money in it. And it was
because I've been in there
like,
with like electricity.
Yeah, she was like, just thank you for letting
hanging
us
out in your
here.
house. We're not freeloading here. She was a single mom at the time.
Yeah, so she did that, and I was kind of like, oh my god, that is so sweet and so nice.
What can I say? I'm pretty thoughtful.
All right, let's go for one last question.
All right. Well, I have a question. Maybe you didn't answer it. Why did we take so long to get married and have kids? People probably want to know. Well, we've been together 20.
Would be you, I guess.
Well, people are wondering. We've been together 20 years, but we've only been married for 5, and then Josie's 2. So we did it in basically the 4th quarter of this 20 years. Obviously, we were young. And the truth is, it wasn't legal to get married for a good chunk of the time we were together, the first 10 years. So if we were able to, I know some people said, oh, go to Massachusetts. I mean, we were young enough to say we were going to, but we never ended up going. And then, So we waited till it was legal in the whole country, and then we got engaged, and then got married 2 years after. And then at that point, we didn't think we were gonna have any kids because we were some no spring chickens here.
Yeah.
So we said, let's try.
I'm an overthinker.
Yes.
And she's not, but for some reason, when it came to that, she was.
And it's just a life you're bringing into this world.
It's only a life that you're responsible for. So we did a lot of, just overthinking and waiting for the right moment. And then finally we're just like, we're getting old and, the right moment is just not coming along. We kind of just have to make the right moment or
just have to make it.
Take it, And it's been the best thing that we've done.
We actually,
nugget.
That story, we did try 2 times. The first one, we were gullible enough to think it would work the first time, and it didn't take. So we did the second time, and miracle, because then we found out later on that second time was still a low percentage, like under 15%.
Yeah, the percentages that, the numbers that they go over with you are pretty crazy. It's almost like you shouldn't even find out the number, because I feel like, especially for people like me, that adds an extra layer of stress to know that it's that low. So yeah, fast forward to now, we have tried, for another kid. It did not take. I'm just a very stressed out person. And I truly feel that, my body needs to be calm and everything needs to be good inside in order for it to take.
So we're waiting on that. Again, we're not waiting for the perfect moment, but ideal situation where we try one more time, and if not, this triangle stays a trio.
Yeah, we're happy, we're content with what we have. She's amazing. We're absolutely in love with her.
She loves all the attention.
But I would like to give her a sibling.
Yeah. That's more for us, for older, later stages of like what we're dealing with our parents, and we're just alone when they get older. So it's more so that I don't think she's going to be missing out. It's just extra stuff when she's younger, extra best friend, but she has us. So, so far, we'll update you guys on that, but so far it's just the trio right now.
Oh, guys, also, I forgot about the second embarrassing moment.
Oh, my God. Thought
guys,
we moved on.
So, you know how, like, sometimes you could be in the car or just out and about, and you're like, oh, my goodness, I have to go to the bathroom. And you're like, I'm not sure that I'm going to make it. Like, I feel like people say that often enough, but you don't ever think that that's the actual, like, literal truth.
Oh, Lord.
This girl.
Why are these both, like, vagina stories?
They're what comes up to my mind as an embarrassing moment.
Gosh.
She was driving in her car that obviously she no longer has. And she was like, oh my God, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm not gonna make it. I gotta go to the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, there's a 7-Eleven right there. Go ahead and pull in. She pulls in, puts the car in park, and says, I didn't make it. I said, what are you talking about? I thought she was pranking me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you didn't make it? Like, it was literally less than a minute from when she says, I had to go. And luckily, where we are, there's a bunch of gas stations everywhere. And the time just didn't match up. And I'm like, how did you not make it from when you told me you had to go? You couldn't wait like a minute or two to enter the 7-Eleven?
I've had pee issues since I was a child. I've peed my pants quite a few times as a kid and adult. I don't have a problem with holding it. Maybe my sphincter is dysfunctional.
I was like, she needs to go see a doctor.
Usually if I can sit down and bend it, my area, I can hold it in. So I'm like, I can't be standing up because it'll be gone. But if I'm sitting, I can control it because I did it many times in the school bus in middle school. And then I tried to run home many times. I didn't make it home.
You would have never.
I went to a side of a house and peed.
Pee girl, the girl who pees.
I peed in front of kids in 3rd grade and on a wall because I said I had to go. I have an issue. I've had an issue all my life. I'm sorry.
So, anyways, yeah, that was the one that came to mind.
Wow.
Let's see.
Two more questions and then
do you have that picture? Do you still have that? You can look up the account. That picture on Nellie's couch.
Of us two?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can post it. I'll see if I can.
Okay, so this is gonna be a
hair?
picture of when we first met.
Oh my god.
The very beginning years.
We both
and then
look
compare
different.
us to now. Do we look better then?
I mean, come on. I was like, what, 100 pounds lighter then?
She honestly, I think we both look like bobbleheads. Cause
Yeah,
we
our
like
heads
so
were
much
huge
skinnier.
and skinnier.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I prefer now.
Speak for yourself.
You'd rather have that.
Yeah.
I mean, a mix. What is a favorite memory together? What's your favorite memory?
We can go simple or we can go elaborate. I remember in the beginning, simple was always our car rides. A lot of our first 2 years were heavily inside a car. Either eating there, going on dates, driving around. So that's the simple answer. But the two, other than obviously you giving me Josie, I get real sensitive. She gets my heart. I guess our two big trips, those are the two most memorable. When we drove out west and we drove from south of the U.S. all the way north to Montana and back. I think we put like $18,000 on a rental. I'm probably blacklisted from that rental company after returning that car in 20 days with $18,000. But that was really memorable. And then our trip and getting married in Italy. Those vacations, it's whenever we go away. You?
That's my favorite memory is Italy. I think,
Over the west?
Yeah.
You said you want to do that trip again.
Of course. It was a great trip. But
okay.
My experience with you and our wedding in Italy is just a favorite core memory because, when you're in the beginning stages, I would say, of a relationship, you do, and us being young, we did a lot of like dreaming, and talking about the future and what could it be like and what we would do. And I feel like that's what we did with our wedding. We kind of like had this idea,
It didn't come right away, guys. We were thinking of getting married here and having everyone here. And then we happened to look at our dream board, and Glow at the time was living with us, and her dream board, and all three of us had Italy on our dream board. All of us had it on the same year for the dream board. It was like meant
destiny,
to be.
Like the world was telling us, this is where you need to be.
So
we kind of like went with it, and we made a goal, and we're like, let's do it. Let's work to get married in Italy.
Let me tell you what I had to do to get married in Italy. I threw newspapers in the middle of the night in the hood. She was driving, I'm throwing it at 4 a.m. Then having to go to work, go teach, okay? And then I also did groceries just to pay for this wedding.
Yeah. So we didn't have, any help with our wedding. We did it on our own. And so it was obviously something that had to take a little bit of time for us to gather the funds. Also, like, I can't believe that I even did that with my anxiety and my, kind of, like, my control issues. I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea. I think just the kind of like, just get it over with and
I think that moment's the reason why you think you can just raw dog life without any help, because her luggage never showed. Thank God we had her wedding dress as carry-on, but she did not have clothes.
My luggage
the entire trip of Italy
got left at the airport in Miami for my wedding trip. So I was like kind of like in fight or flight mode. I was like, okay, this could very well, with good reason, like ruin this entire trip, or I could just figure it out and make do and just go with the punches.
Look what ended up happening. She found the best underwear at an Italian grocery store. She still loves them to this day.
They've got good quality over there.
And she got clothes from Italy that she still has. So
I went on a little shopping spree, and it wasn't like a lot because also we were limited on time. So it's not like I could, go find like malls, which also they don't really have malls. They had,
also
like, one...
didn't have a budget for her to get a whole outfit.
Yeah, I mean, we were on a tight budget. We were planning our wedding, and we had to pay vendors and, tip everyone, and it was a lot. So, but it was great. Like, I mean, I think like just going through that.
It all worked out.
And knowing that we went, you know, halfway across the world to express our love for one another.
Wow, we're getting cheesy here, but
with our closest friends and family.
All right, guys, the camera got overheated, so last question. Let's do that again.
Someone woke up from her nap also, by the way.
Say hi, Josie.
Say hello. Tell them, what is your name? What's your name? Tell them. Say, my name is Josie.
She's still camera shy. She's not full grown grub girl mode.
Yes.
Yeah, mommy and mama. All right, so our final question, let's redo it, was...
One word to describe a relationship. I said supportive and you said...
I said resilient, because no matter what, we've stuck through. Say, I'm going to keep you.
Just trying to make the best life for, you know, our little family. And I say that, you know, no matter what, you are always supportive of me. And that's something that I appreciate about you.
Oh, thanks, Mama Bear, Mommy Bear. But I think we answered a lot of questions today. If you guys have more questions, put it in the comments and we'll respond. Getting videos out weekly is still a work in progress for me in our schedule. This girl's full-time, so with a job that also is full-time and then a kid, and then, you know, having some time for us, editing has taken the back burner, but we have videos. We'll try to put them out.
We're trying our best.
We're trying our best. Just know we are thinking about the channel, and yeah, it will get better. But hope you guys enjoyed this little Q&A, and as always, stay salty.
And stay sweet, guys.
See you guys next time. Bye. Say bye, Josie.
Say bye-bye.
Bye.